Hello and welcome to my first video. Thank you for stopping, thank you for pressing play, and thank you for watching. My name is Angel and I've decided to make this video because there's quite a few hashtags that I would really like to respond to. So this is a VR to Marlena Teresa, hashtag Tarot to the Extreme, or hashtag Tarot Extremes. And this hashtag is about comparing the opposites of your tarot collection. So the first comparison is minimalist versus maximalist decks. And my most minimalist deck, I believe, in my collection is the Naked Heart Tarot. This deck is heavily influenced by animals. I'm not particularly an animal deck person, I would say. However, this deck reads really beautifully for me. And I believe it's also because of the white space around. It gives you a chance to look at the images and breathe and really take in what's happening in the cards. Let's have a flick through, take a look at the images. This is really beautiful. So obviously it's colour images, lots of different animals. Yeah, this is a really great reader. I really like the guidebook. I think it's really, really well written. And I really, really like this deck. As I mentioned, it's one of my few animal decks. But I really get along with this one. I really, really enjoy it. I really like it. So yeah, that was the Naked Heart Tarot. Moving on to maximalist decks. My most maximalist deck is the Starman Tarot, and this is a definite maximalist tarot. I mean, you can just feel your senses being bombarded with the images and the colours. These are the backs. I love the colours in this deck. Colour me happy. Definitely colour me happy with this deck. There is so much going on. It's difficult. I believe it's difficult to really focus. So I really need time to sit with these cards and look at them. I haven't worked with them as yet. I've only looked through the deck, but I'm a great believer in that a deck calls to you to work with it when it's ready to tell you its messages. So I've got no rush to work with it. It will let me know when the time is right, and that's fine by me. So these are really beautiful, and most definitely my maximalist deck. Okay, let's do a bit of a comparison here. The minimalist versus the maximalist. Yeah. I'm not saying they don't work. Be interesting to read with them both. To use them at the same time, obviously. Yeah. So, there we go. Minimalist versus maximalist. Okay, so the next comparison is daytime versus nighttime. And when I think of daytime decks, I think of this one. This is the Unfolding Path Tarot. This was a Kickstarter that I backed, maybe back in March, I would say. This is a really beautiful deck. The same again, it's got this white space around the cards. Gives you a chance to really take in the messages and breathe and yeah, and see the messages and see the images for what they are. I love the images in this deck. It's absolutely beautiful. This could have also fallen into the category of everyday. This is definitely an everyday deck for me. I love this devil. I think he's fantastic. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Judgment is also beautiful. These are the backs, if I didn't mention that. I just really, really like these cards. Really, really like them. So yeah, that's my daytime deck, the Unfolding Path. Moving on to nighttime. And that for me is going to be the Dancing in the Dark Tarot. Cat hair. Okay. My deck has been modified. It used to have brown borders all the way around, which I thought were really naff, so I lobbed them off, chopped them off. They are no more. And I've also edged mine in black. Okay, so these images, the same again actually, quite a lot of space around the image, so it gives you a chance to really take in what's going on. I wouldn't say, although it's a dark deck, I wouldn't say it's dark, I would just say it feels like it's at the night time, which obviously matches the prompt. Sorry, it's cat hair on the deck. But it's not a dark reader. It's I've got some really good readings from this. It's yeah, it's a good reader. Very Rider-Waite-Smith. Solid reader, this one. That was the word I was looking for. I was trying to think what the word was in my mind and I couldn't find the word. It disappeared for a second. So yeah, that's my nighttime deck, Dancing in the Dark Tarot. Beautiful, love it, especially now that the borders have gone. Let's do a bit of a comparison. Daytime versus nighttime. I'm only noticing now when I'm getting the decks out and looking at them together that, you know, I really enjoy the images with the space around them. That's really interesting. I've never even thought about that before. If you're wondering why the decks are still in order, I have worked with them, but these are out of rotation at the moment. I'm working with my autumn decks, and when my decks go out of rotation, I put them back into order again to kind of reset the deck, like to kind of allow the deck to, you know, take some time off. I don't know. It's a crazy concept, but it works for me and I really, really like it. So, so yeah, they'll get put back into order, and then they're, yeah, obviously shuffled up when I'm ready to use them again when they come back into rotation. So yeah, daytime, nighttime, loving both. Let's have a quick look here. Moving on to the next comparison. That is the best and the worst shuffle. So my best shuffle is this deck. This is the Stunning Tarot. I really love the colour palette of this deck as well. These are the backs, obviously. Let's move this out of the way. Let's move that. This is a really lovely deck. Obviously, oh, not obviously, but the four suits are, there's a witchy suit, a suit inspired by what, the 1001 Nights stories. Did I say the Egyptian suit? I think I'm going around in circles now. And even, what's the last suit? My mind is going a blank. Let's look in here. Witchy suit. Oh, and the mermaid suit, of course. Of course. So yeah, love the colour palette as mentioned. It's quite a constrained colour palette, if that's the right word. Okay, let's do the most important thing now. Let's give it a wee shuffle. I edged mine in this purple colour, which I love. Beautiful cardstock. I absolutely love this. This reminds me of it reminds me of the same kind of cardstock as the Unfolding Path Tarot. So the Unfolding Path Tarot could have also fallen into this category of best shuffle because it's gorgeous. I love, 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 love this cardstock. Okay, so that's my best shuffle. Moving on to the worst shuffle, unfortunately, that has got to be the Moonchild Tarot, unfortunately. I love the deck. I'm not a big fan of the cardstock. I'm not sure if this cardstock is what they call the rose petal. I'm not particularly sure. Love this card. Really enjoy that. yeah, I really like the cards. I use this deck for my moon readings. Cat hair. I love that it's Egyptian inspired. I really, really think they're beautiful images. I love this collage artwork. I love the colours as well. This is beautiful. Yeah, so love the deck, love the images, love the readings. I really enjoy the guidebook as well. I find this quite an intuitive deck actually, when I sit and, you know, really think about the messages. I get some really great hits on them. The only downside is the shuffle, the cardstock. Beautifully gilded in this gold colour. Let's see how this is going to shuffle now. It's quite stiff, I think, and then like when once you have shuffled it, it kind of like sticks together, so I can't even bridge it. And why are the cards, look at this, look at this, this is shabby. You can see I'm not a professional. So yeah, that's my worst shuffle. Best shuffle was Stunning Tarot. Let's do a bit of a comparison. Yeah, best shuffle, worst shuffle. That's those two. Beautiful decks, showing back the cardstock. Okay, the next comparison is Confronting versus Comforting. And my most comforting deck is this one. This is a mass market deck. This is the Journey to Enlightenment Tarot. These are the backs, and these are the sides, which I've edged in blue to match the backs, which I really like. I love these images. I love the colour again. Colour me happy. Love, love, love a bit of colour in my decks. This could have also fallen into the category of maximalist. There's a lot going on in these images. They're really quite intense, I think, image-wise. But I really, 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 really enjoy these images. And I really, really enjoy the guidebook as well. I think it's really well written. I first saw this deck on Honey Rose Ritual's channel. I think that's the name of the channel. If it's not correct, I'll put the correct name here somewhere. Yeah, and I saw it on her channel and I just fell in love with it. I thought it was beautiful. And when I first got it out of the box, because the images are so intense, I expected the readings to be intense, but they're not. I find the readings really comforting. Yeah, this is a firm favourite in my collection. It really, really is. I really enjoy it. This is in rotation now. So yeah, love it. Really love it. Okay, most confronting. That has got to be the Tarot Oscuro. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. These images are really, really interesting. Not for the faint-hearted, I don't think. I haven't used this deck so much, but the readings that I have used it for have been tamer than I thought they would be. I thought this deck would be a real kick in the bum kind of deck, but it actually wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. It's not like a big, you know, hug. It's not going to hold your hand and stroke your hair, but it was tamer than I thought it was going to be. So I got some really good readings. Let's move that. So these are really, really interesting. These images, I think, they kind of, you know, make you a bit uncomfortable, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Clown anybody? Yeah, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna compare the two. Let's have a look here. Most comforting and most confronting. Let's see how these two work together. Oh, I'm quite liking this. Ooh, this is very interesting. Oh, I'm really liking this. Yeah. Most comforting. Most confronting. That was the Genital Enlightenment Tarot. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. And the Tarot Oscuro. I hope I'm saying that right. And I apologise if I'm not. Okay, the next comparison. That is everyday versus every so often. And my everyday deck, I think this has also appeared in quite a few other people's videos, is the Lightseers Tarot. This is the mass market tarot deck. I've edged mine in like a greeny blue, possibly. Let's move that out of the way. So this is my everyday deck. This was one of my first tarot decks that I got after the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. I haven't been reading tarot for particularly very long. I started my tarot journey in 2020, right at the end of 2020, and I've accumulated, let's just say, a couple of decks since then. Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed reading with this when I first got it, and learning, obviously. I found this a lot easier to learn with than the Rider-Waite-Smith. Not that I have anything against the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, but for me, these images worked much better. I've also used this deck for reading for other people, and they've also been really, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, the word's escaping me. Oh no! Oh, if I remember the word, I'll put it here somewhere. I'm having a blackout moment. I'm sorry. So yeah, that was the Lightseers Tarot. Okay, my every so often deck, that is the Tarot of Mystical Moments. These are the backs. They're gilded in silver, which have had a good old beating. That's hopefully not going to get any glare on here. I use this occasionally, or not so often, because this is the deck I use for ancestral work. I find that my ancestors' voices come through really, really clearly, loudly and clearly through this deck. So this is the deck that I only use for my ancestral work. I really, really enjoy these images. I really enjoy the deck. I really enjoy the readings. I find this is a really intuitive deck for me, and it sings its messages really loudly, really clearly. I really, really enjoy it. So yeah. So that was my every so often. This is the everyday. The Lightseers Tarot, Tarot of Mystical Moments. Let's do a bit of a comparison here. Do they work? This reminds me, I've just got to say, this always reminds me, I don't know why, it gives me a Claire out of Outlander vibe. You know, Outlander with, you know, Jamie and Claire, and, you know, she comes through the stones and goes back into the past. Definite vibe there. I don't know why. One might never know. Hey ho. Yep. That's those two. Okay, moving on to the next comparison. Overrated versus underrated. Let's start with the overrated, because that's not going to be a very popular choice, I don't think. My overrated deck, I think, is the Druidcraft Tarot deck. I'm very sorry for everybody that really enjoys this deck. I can say that I haven't been called to work with it as yet. I've cut the borders off mine twice. I first cut the borders off and then cut the second border off. I haven't edged it yet. This deck hasn't called to me to work with it, as I mentioned. I really, really, really enjoy the artwork. I think the artwork is beautiful. The only thing I have a problem with this deck is that the people in this deck have got really big feet. Does anybody else notice that? I find it a bit bizarre. Do you not think these people's feet are quite big? I mean, I know that her foot is close to us, but I mean, you know, I mean, this is quite, you know, but I mean, this one, how big do their feet need to be? Is it just me? This person's foot. It's just crazy. Crazy, crazy. It's clearly just me. I've obviously got a thing with feet, which I never realised I did. Anywho, yeah. So this deck, as I mentioned, hasn't called to me, and it drives me balmy as well that my fingerprints and goodness knows what show up on the back of this deck. I haven't even used it particularly very much, apart from obviously the chopping off of the borders. But, you know, when it's ready to work with me, it will call to me and we will work together. I'm in no rush. You know, whenever it's ready to tell me its messages, that's when we'll work together. So, yeah, that is the Druidcraft Tarot. The most underrated deck. Let's have a looky here. That, in my humble opinion, is the Rainbow Tarot. Sorry, the Rainbow Moon Tarot, sorry. I absolutely love this deck. I love this deck. This is not going to sound right, but I'm not a particularly space inspired kind of person. I'm not a huge sci-fi fan either. But this deck just really speaks to me. I just love it. I've used it for shadow work. I've used it for, you know, general everyday readings. I really enjoy it. And I find, I love the colours, Colour Me Happy. Absolutely love the colours. The images, I'm going to say, are quite, I'm not going to say simple, but they're very clean. So maybe that's also helps. I mean, this deck just sings its messages to me. I can, you know, draw a few cards and it's as clear as a bell. What I also really enjoy about this deck is that they've renamed a few of the cards. This obviously is the Empress, which has been renamed as the Creator. And we've even got the Hierophant, which has been renamed to Rooted, which I think works really well. I mean, this is just beautiful. And there's quite a few of these yellow brick roads, I'm going to say, which really gives me a major Wizard of Oz reference, which I watched as a kid, like on repeat, basically. I love that film. Yeah, I absolutely love this deck. I haven't had it particularly very long. I would say maybe 2 months, possibly. But it's a firm favourite. I use it in pretty much every single day. So this could have fallen into the everyday category as well, actually. I just love it. I absolutely love it. And there's diversity with, you know, size diversity. It's just great. Great. So yeah, that was the Rainbow Moon Tarot. Let's bring back, for a comparison, the Druidcraft Tarot. Let's do this. I'm not convinced these are going to work very well together, but you never know. You never know. They could surprise us. I'm kind of feeling a bit of a call to work with this now, actually, which sounds a bit daft, but yeah, I'm not going to explain it right at the minute, but there is definitely a calling possibly for this deck. It's all about the antlers. I'll get into that in another video, I think. So yeah, that is Druidcraft Tarot and the Rainbow Moon Tarot. Beautiful. Okay, the next comparison is light work versus shadow work. Now, I do shadow work, and I wasn't particularly sure about light work, but when I think about shadow work, the opposite of shadow work for me is when I use this deck. So I chose the She Wolfe Tarot. These are the backs, which I think are really beautiful. They're gilded in like a pink rose gold, maybe they call it. I really, really love this deck. There's also been a few name changes on some of the cards. This is Thoth inspired. I haven't done much work with the Thoth as yet. I'm just starting to dip my toes into Thoth. There's a few extra cards in this deck as well. Egyptian inspired again, which I really, really enjoy. I find this quite an intuitive deck as well, actually. Sorry, nudity. Warning for nudity. And again, I really enjoy the guidebook on this deck as well. I think it's really, really good, really well written. So yeah, that is the She Wolfe Tarot. Okay, shadow work. There can only be one deck for me, and that is this beauty, which is the Dreamkeepers Tarot. This is the mass market version. These are the backs. I edged mine in like a silver colour. This is also a really intuitive deck for me. I love the artwork. I love the colours. You know, they're not vibrant, they're more, not sepia toned. Oh, I'm really sorry, I'm blanking on the words today, that's really bad. For me, this deck really, really suits the whole shadow work vibe. The guidebook is fantastic as far as I'm concerned, in my humble opinion. I think it's fantastic. Got the antlers going on again, that's really interesting. I'm sorry you can hear this jogging, if you can hear this, something that's jogging in the background. I do apologise. So yeah, that is the Dreamkeepers Tarot that I use for shadow work. Let's do a quick comparison. Let's get the She Wolfe Tarot back in. Let's have a look here. Warning for nudity. Let's see how these two work together. Interesting. Nudity. These two could be quite interesting to work with together. This is a really beautiful card, I really like this. And I really enjoy the colours in the She Wolfe Tarot. This is beautiful. So beautiful. So yeah. So that was the last comparison, light work versus shadow work. So there we go, let's put this one here. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to hit like, then please do that. If you did make it to the end, please leave a little emoji in the comments, and tell me what you think of the decks that I chose. What do you think about the Druidcraft Tarot deck? Do they have big feet, or is it just me? Am I just a bit crazy about feet? Yeah, have a lovely morning, lovely afternoon, lovely evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care, stay safe, and thank you for watching. Bye.